This right here that you see on your screen is someone who's extremely butthurt, probably at this point. But shout out to the Counter Interior King for sending me this story. If you don't know who this piece of shit is right here on your screen, this is none other than John Mattingly, and he's the one that is responsible for firing some of the fatal shots that killed Breonna Taylor. As a matter of fact, out of all three of the ones who was involved with her murder, he's the one I despise the most, because he's the one that has always been going and putting himself out in front of there for interviews and talking the most shit and all types of stuff. Like, it's almost like he became the official spokesman for the trio out of all three that they keep talking about. But this is the one, he's the one that got shot in the leg by Kenneth Walker, and they tried to get Kenneth Walker on attempted murder charges. This is him. But the reason why I'm coming on here today is because apparently he's trying to release this book that he's writing, I guess like some kind of a memoir to reflect on what happened that night, telling his point of view, which I'm almost certain is going to be about trying to make him out to be a hero or some kind of victim, and Breonna Taylor be the bad person and Kenneth Walker be the bad person as well. Well, that actually has hit a little wall, because one of the biggest publishing companies in the world that is owned by Viacom CBS, known as Simon & Schuster, has decided to scrap plans to publish his book. Originally, they were going to publish his book, but they said that I guess conscience got the best of them, or maybe they knew the backlash was coming, that they said that there's no way that we're going to allow this person to profit off of black pain, and we're not going to be the ones that's going to publish that type of material. So we're not going to publish your book. Now, the book I think is already done, because they said it's supposed to come out this fall. So I believe the book is already done. It's amazing. This thing happened a little over a year ago, and already he has a book out. Book deals and everything. And we kind of knew that was happening because, like I said, he was the one that was constantly always doing interviews. Like the two other cops, you really didn't know who they were except for the one that got fired and arrested. You didn't really hear about the other one. He kind of faded into obscurity. But this is the one right here who is the attention whore. Like, he's always out there. He was always in front of a camera. He was always being interviewed by somebody, and always trying to tell his side of the story, which was filled with a bunch of lies. And I know that book is going to be filled with an even more abundance of lies. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article from the Atlanta Black Star. It says Simon & Schuster has said it will not distribute a book written by the Louisville police officer who was shot while executing the no-knock warrant that resulted in the death of Breonna Taylor in March 2020. Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, who fired shots during the botched raid but was not charged over his involvement in the execution of the warrant that left the 26-year-old EMT dead, contacted a Louisville Courier Journal photographer last week for permission to use a May 2020 protest photo in the book, which led to the newspaper being first to report on the existence of Mattingly's projects. The book, The Fight for Truth, the inside story behind the Breonna Taylor tragedy, is slated to be published this fall by Post Hill Press, a Tennessee-based company that focuses on pop culture, business, self-help, health, current events, Christian and conservative political books. The Louisville Courier Journal reported on Thursday. However, after widespread criticism, Simon & Schuster, a subsidiary of Viacom CBS and one of the largest publishing companies in the United States, has scrapped plans to distribute the book. Kentucky State Representative Attica Scott called the book's impending release an attempt to profit off of black pain and tragedy. Mike Brown, an artist from New York, called the company out for the apparent contradiction between its association with Mattingly's book and its message of solidarity with the black community following the death of George Floyd. Now, I'm looking at it right here from this person whose username is at Yo Mike Brown. They retweeted a tweet that Simon & Schuster made last year. It says, hashtag Black Lives Matter, Black Stories. We stand against racism and violence. We stand with Black authors, illustrators, readers, colleagues, educators, librarians, creators, now and always. And he retweeted and said, today, Simon & Schuster will be distributing the book by one of the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. And it says last year. Basically, that tweet was basically calling them out and saying, so you contradicted yourself. You say you're for Black lives and all types of stuff like that, but then you want to publish a book that was put that could possibly be put out there by a person who's involved with what could most likely be seen as a racially motivated killing, or at least having well, at least the results definitely have some racial undertones to it, overtones as well. So really, when you think about it, Simon & Schuster, the publishing company, really only did this because they was afraid of the backlash. Like I had initially stated, it was the backlash. It wasn't because, in my opinion, because they wanted to, because they was going to do so anyway. But they saw the backlash coming, and they already knew that they would lose a lot of support and customers behind this. So they said, you know what, we're not going to do it. And look at it. At the end of the day, this piece of shit still got a deal regardless. Just not the big deal like he would have gotten with Simon & Schuster. The company made the announcement that it would not be a part of distributing the book on April 15th from an official Twitter account. Like much of the American public, earlier today, Simon & Schuster learned of plans of distribution client Post Hill Press to publish a book by Jonathan Mattingly. We have subsequently decided not to be involved in the distribution of this book. Best-selling author and journalist R. Eric Thomas criticized the publishing company for waiting to ditch plans to distribute the book until after the backlash. This person said, I'm glad Simon & Schuster is distancing from the disgustingly Mattingly book, but absolutely fuck off with this. We found out when you did. You're a corporation in a professional relationship with a troll publisher. You didn't find this information out on Twitter. Earlier on Thursday, Simon & Schuster seemed to suggest it could not reject Post Hill titles, but later reverse course. A publicist confirmed to NPR on Friday that Post Hill will move ahead with publishing Mattingly's book. His story is important and deserves to be heard by the public at large. Well, I'm part of the public, and I don't want to hear it. We feel strongly that an open dialogue is essential to shining a light on the challenging issues our country is facing. That is some of the most PC statements you will ever hear, because I swear that kind of line only usually ever comes from them. I'm just saying. Post Hill Press. Other offers include prominent right-wingers like Dan Bongino, Laura Loomer, and Matt Gaetz. Gaetz, a Republican Florida congressman currently under investigation by the Justice Department as a part of a federal sex trafficking probe. Then it just goes into some backstory. Now, I'm not going to read the backstory. So really, when you think about it, like people were suggesting, Simon & Schuster only is doing this because of the backlash that they were facing. And then they tried to clean it up by saying they didn't really know about it. And then they got caught up again and saying, how could you not know you're this giant corporation? You had to have known, and you did not just find out on a social media app. So really, when you think about it, Simon & Schuster ain't shit, and neither is John Mattingly, or the other two that was involved with the shooting death of Breonna Taylor that night, and in my opinion, almost the attempted murder of her boyfriend, because he could have died too. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you have not done so already, text the number that is pinned down in the comments below to receive notifications every time I upload a new video or go live.